Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight reports are flooding in from multiple unverified sources claiming that Iran may be preparing for an overnight strike against Israel. These claims have not been confirmed by any government, but the sudden surge of online chatter and satellite monitoring has caught the attention of global analysts. The tone around the region has shifted sharply in the past few hours, and intelligence watchers are calling it a night of tension and uncertainty. Across social platforms and open source trackers, unusual military activity has been observed inside Iran. Several defense analysts say that troop movement patterns and radar activity near strategic bases look different from usual. No one knows if this is a drill or something more serious. The lack of official statements from Tehran has only deepened the mystery. Observers believe this silence could be intentional. It creates an atmosphere of suspense, a psychological pressure point. Israel's defense network is reportedly at its highest alert level since the last round of hostilities. Civil defense authorities are said to be testing siren systems and emergency protocols just in case. The Iron Dome units are fully armed. Air bases across the country are said to be operating under readiness level red. Every eye is watching the skies. Every radar sweep matters. The night feels long and electric. Unconfirmed reports from independent journalists on the ground claim that several Iranian drones have been repositioned at forward bases. Some sources mention ballistic units being loaded, but these details remain impossible to verify. What makes this situation even more volatile is the timing. The rumors emerge just after midnight local time, a moment when the world is quiet and reactions are slow. The suggestion of a surprise overnight action has pushed the atmosphere into overdrive. Analysts in Washington, London, and Tel Aviv are scrambling for clarity. Satellite intelligence teams are scanning for thermal signatures or fuel transport activity that might confirm whether any launch preparation is underway. So far, nothing concrete has surfaced, but the speed and intensity of the rumors have pushed global attention back to the fragile balance between Tehran and Jerusalem. People across Israel are staying awake tonight. In border towns, families are keeping emergency kits nearby. The government has not issued an official shelter order, but quiet advisories are spreading through encrypted channels. Stay alert, stay calm, wait for updates. The mood on the streets is tense. Every sound feels amplified. Every aircraft overhead draws eyes to the sky. Political experts say this level of tension is a reminder of how fragile peace in the Middle East really is. Even whispers of an attack can shift markets, military posture, and public psychology in a matter of minutes. Oil prices have already begun to rise as investors anticipate any disruption to the Persian Gulf trade routes. The global economy reacts instantly to fear. There are also reports that United States forces stationed in the region have increased monitoring. The Pentagon has not commented publicly, but several defense journalists claim that reconnaissance flights have been spotted over the Persian Gulf. The presence of these aircraft suggests heightened awareness and preparation for any contingency. Meanwhile, Iranian state media remains completely silent on the matter. No statements, no denials, no acknowledgement. Analysts interpret this as either discipline or strategic ambiguity. Silence can be a message too. It keeps adversaries guessing. It holds the world in suspense. Social media is adding fuel to the fire. Videos claiming to show convoys of Iranian vehicles moving at night are going viral, though none are verified. Some are old clips being reshared to create confusion. Others could be authentic. The fog of digital war makes truth slippery. Every viewer becomes part of the speculation game. In Israel, the Prime Minister's office has reportedly gone into closed session with top defense officials. Local media outlets are under strict instructions to verify every claim before broadcasting. But leaks from within suggest that the government is treating the threat as plausible, the key word being plausible, not confirmed. Experts say if Iran were planning a real strike, it could involve ballistic missiles, drones, or even cyber components aimed at crippling infrastructure before dawn. Israel's Cyber Defense Command is already on alert. The digital front is as active as the physical one. Firewalls are being reinforced. Communications are being rerouted. Preparations for all possibilities are underway. Behind the scenes, diplomatic lines are open. Qatar, Oman, and Turkey are reportedly trying to calm the situation by reaching out to Iranian leadership. These nations often act as intermediaries during moments of high tension. Whether Tehran responds positively remains uncertain. The United Nations is watching closely. An emergency session could be called if any credible threat surfaces. The world has seen how quickly small sparks in this region can turn into wildfires. No one wants that tonight, but the whispers keep growing. The chatter keeps echoing through intelligence circles. Something is happening. Or maybe nothing is happening, and that uncertainty is the danger itself. Global news networks are carefully phrasing their coverage. Words like alleged, suspected, and possible dominate the headlines. The choice of language shows how fragile the information chain is. Nobody wants to declare war before it begins, but nobody wants to be caught unprepared if it does. Citizens in neighboring countries are also uneasy. Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria are all on edge. Air traffic patterns have shifted slightly. Commercial flights are being rerouted away from potential conflict zones. Pilots are reporting crowded airwaves as militaries across the region tighten surveillance. What makes this story gripping is not only the possibility of conflict, but the sense of suspense it creates. The world is watching two powerful nations staring at each other in the dark, neither blinking first. That image alone captures global attention. Every second counts. Every statement or silence becomes a signal. Back in Iran, domestic sentiment is difficult to gauge. The government tightly controls information flow, but some social media users are hinting at patriotic messages and coded references to readiness. Whether these are genuine citizens or coordinated narratives is impossible to say. The line between information and propaganda is thin. International observers are urging calm. Several think tanks have issued late-night briefings advising governments to avoid rash interpretations. They emphasize that so far all signs remain speculative. But the tone of these briefings also reveals concern, because rumors of war rarely appear without reason. This developing story is also testing global diplomacy. The United States has promised to support Israel's defense if attacked. Russia and China maintain ties with Iran and call for restraint. The alignment of powers adds layers of complexity. Any misstep could turn a regional event into a global crisis. Within Israel, military analysts say defense systems can intercept most short-range attacks, but saturation could pose a problem. The possibility of multiple launch points through allied proxy groups like Hezbollah adds another dimension. Israel's intelligence units are reportedly scanning for signs of activation among these groups tonight. As the clock moves deeper into the night, global media remains on standby. Newsrooms from New York to London are refreshing feeds every few seconds. The sense of anticipation is intense. This could be the story that defines the week, the month, or even the year. And through it all, the average person just wants peace. No one wants another conflict. But history has shown that peace in this region is fragile. It exists on the edge of fear. On nights like this, fear is the loudest sound. The next few hours will tell whether these rumors dissolve with the sunrise or explode into reality. Every analyst, every soldier, every diplomat knows how thin that line is. The phrase overnight attack is trending worldwide. Hashtags rise. Comment sections fill with speculation, theories, and prayers. The digital world becomes a mirror of the anxiety on the ground. The uncertainty itself becomes the headline. Iran, Israel overnight. 3 words that could shape the next phase of geopolitics. Yet, as of this hour, nothing has been confirmed. And that void of certainty is what keeps everyone awake. The night continues and the world holds its breath. Every second without confirmation feels longer. Every whisper of new information spreads faster. The digital storm is alive and growing. Reports from monitoring stations suggest increased chatter on encrypted military channels across the region. The pattern resembles pre-operational coordination, though it could also be defensive testing. Nobody knows for sure. The guessing game deepens the tension. Inside Israel, command centers are fully staffed. Screens glow with maps, grids, and radar blips. Analysts watch for any deviation in airspace movement. Fighter jets remain fueled and ready. The atmosphere inside those rooms is silent but heavy. You can almost feel the heartbeat of a nation waiting in the dark. Across the sea in Washington, military advisors are briefing senior officials. The goal is to maintain calm but readiness at the same time. The United States has a long-standing commitment to Israel's security. If a verified threat emerges, response coordination would be immediate. But tonight, all official channels say the same line: nothing confirmed, stay alert. In Iran, there are faint signs of mobilization reported by open-source trackers. Some claim to have seen power fluctuations near known missile bases. Others claim communication blackouts in remote regions. These details may be coincidences, yet together they build a picture that fuels speculation. The absence of clarity becomes the story. Experts in crisis management say this moment reflects how modern warfare can start with perception, not action. A rumor becomes a headline becomes a trigger. Nations prepare for something that might never happen, and in that preparation, the world edges closer to danger. Energy markets continue to react. Oil prices climb. Shipping companies pause schedules. Insurance rates for cargo in the Persian Gulf spike. Traders know that even false alarms cost billions. The invisible ripple spreads across the planet. Citizens online are demanding answers. People ask why there is no statement from either side. Others accuse news outlets of spreading fear. The debate turns chaotic. The truth gets buried beneath layers of emotion, speculation, and algorithmic noise. Local time in Tel Aviv approaches dawn. The city is quiet but alert. Streets are empty. Windows glow from the light of televisions and phones. Every update matters. Some people record the sky hoping to capture evidence of movement. Others pray. The mix of fear and curiosity defines the moment. Regional governments are quietly preparing for the worst. Jordan activates its emergency coordination teams. Egypt places border security on watch. Saudi Arabia monitors air corridors closely. The Gulf states understand that any major clash between Iran and Israel would affect them directly. Airspace closures and economic disruptions would follow instantly. Intelligence analysts highlight one important point. True military operations often happen without warning. The fact that so much is being discussed publicly may indicate deterrence rather than intent. By letting rumors spread, both sides test each other's readiness. It is a high-stakes psychological game. In Tehran, insiders whisper that the leadership faces internal pressure. Hardliners want to show strength. Moderates fear isolation. The balance between defiance and diplomacy is razor thin. A single misjudged move could ignite a firestorm that no one can control. Israel too must calculate its response carefully. Preemptive action could escalate matters unnecessarily. Restraint could be seen as weakness. The decisions being made tonight are historic. They will shape the security landscape for years. The online space remains chaotic. Anonymous accounts claim to post insider information. Satellite enthusiasts share blurry images. News aggregators amplify every rumor. Viewers cannot distinguish what is real and what is staged. But everyone keeps watching because uncertainty is addictive. Psychologists say global audiences are drawn to high-tension stories because they tap into primal instincts of fear and survival. The possibility of overnight conflict creates a surge of adrenaline. People refresh feeds compulsively. This is the emotional engine of modern breaking news. Back in diplomatic corridors, the United Nations Secretary General reportedly made late-night calls urging restraint. European ministers echo the same message: de-escalation, dialogue, cooperation. But such words often fade in the noise of confrontation. Military historians remind us that the most dangerous hours are those filled with misunderstanding. Many past wars began not with an intentional strike, but with misread signals. That memory hangs over the world tonight. Everyone hopes history does not repeat. Inside Iran's command hierarchy, decision-making is complex. Layers of authority mean that even if local commanders prepare assets, the final order must come from the top. That process takes time. Analysts use this window to assess whether movements are tactical theater or genuine preparation. So far, the evidence remains ambiguous. As sunrise approaches, the tension begins to shift. The longer nothing happens, the stronger the uncertainty becomes. Was it all misinformation? Was it deliberate manipulation? Or was a real operation aborted after exposure? Each theory finds its believers. In Tel Aviv, relief begins to mix with confusion. Citizens who stayed awake now start their day still unsure what the night meant. News anchors repeat the same phrase: no attack has occurred, but the questions remain. Why the troop movements? Why the silence from Tehran? Why the surge in encrypted communications? Some experts think this may have been a strategic test, a way for Iran to measure global reaction time and social media impact. Others see it as an accidental panic triggered by misinterpreted signals. Both possibilities highlight the fragile nature of security in the digital age. Markets slowly stabilize but remain cautious. Oil prices plateau but stay high. Investors know the calm might be temporary. Everyone waits for official statements that still have not come. Late morning briefings in Washington describe the night as a successful exercise in vigilance. No confirmed launches, no casualties, just data. Yet officials admit that the speed of rumor escalation surprised even seasoned analysts. The need for faster verification tools becomes clear. In Tehran, local newspapers finally publish controlled stories denying any aggressive plans. They accuse foreign media of psychological warfare. The tone is defiant. Iran insists it wants stability, but will defend itself if provoked. The ambiguity remains. In Israel, military spokespersons thank citizens for remaining calm. They emphasize readiness and resilience. The message is clear: preparedness is strength. Fear is the enemy. The government promises transparency while maintaining strategic secrecy. By midday, global attention begins to shift, but the echo of the night lingers. Commentators dissect every detail. Timeline analyses flood the internet. Experts debate whether this was the closest near miss of the year. The consensus is simple: the world was lucky. Psychologically, however, the event leaves a mark. It reveals how fragile trust in information has become. A single rumor nearly triggered international panic. The power of perception proved stronger than the power of proof. That realization will shape future strategy. Diplomats privately acknowledge that back-channel talks likely prevented escalation. Mediators from Oman and Qatar may have quietly intervened to cool both sides. If true, it shows that dialogue still matters even in the darkest hours. Analysts believe the incident will accelerate regional security cooperation. Nations now understand that false alarms can be as dangerous as real attacks. Intelligence sharing protocols will tighten. Communication channels will modernize. Social scientists note the role of online communities in amplifying tension. Algorithms reward fear. Engagement grows when users panic. Platforms benefit from chaos. That structural flaw makes digital conflict almost inevitable. For citizens, the night was a lesson in patience and awareness. Not every alert means apocalypse, but ignoring signals is equally risky. The balance between skepticism and caution defines survival in the information age. By evening, the world exhales. No explosions, no sirens, just silence. Yet that silence carries weight, because everyone knows how close things can come to disaster. The border between peace and war feels thinner than ever. International leaders issue closing remarks. They welcome the calm but warn against complacency. The region remains volatile. Dialogue must continue. Every nation repeats the same script. Stability is priority. Analysts, however, see another side. They argue that nights like this strengthen deterrence. When both sides realize the cost of fear, they may step back from the brink. Fear becomes its own weapon. The story dominates headlines for another day, then slowly fades. But it stays etched in collective memory. The phrase overnight threat becomes shorthand for a world constantly on edge. A world where rumors can start wars and silence can end them. Behind the curtain, intelligence agencies review their data. They study what triggered the wave of speculation. They analyze social sentiment graphs, radar logs, satellite images. Every clue becomes part of the next preparedness manual. The goal is to prevent panic before it starts. Meanwhile, ordinary people move on, but remain alert. Every breaking news notification now carries a shadow of doubt. Every late-night report feels heavier. The trust once placed in instant updates has changed. As the days pass, officials from both nations avoid further escalation. Quiet diplomacy takes over. The night of fear turns into a lesson for the future. Transparency, accuracy, and restraint become the new priorities, at least for now. In retrospect, historians may call this the night the world learned to listen more carefully. The night where speculation almost became action. The night when fear proved powerful enough to hold missiles in their silos. The world spins on, but everyone remembers the feeling, the silence, the suspense, the glow of screens in dark rooms, the collective heartbeat of millions waiting for a war that never came. And so the message remains: stay informed, stay calm, question everything, but never ignore the signs. Because in an era where truth travels slower than rumor, awareness is the only shield.